Labour leader Chris Hipkins rallied the party faithful in Christchurch over the weekend at their conference. He made some pretty big statements and made it clear that, quote, "We're going to make the first one-term national government in New Zealand's history." Chippy laid out a few commitments, bringing back smoke-free New Zealand. Strange one to me. According to Action on Smoking and Health, ASH, only around 6.8% of adults reported smoking daily. I say live and let live for those people, but anyway. Kids vaping is a bigger problem in my humble opinion. What else? Finishing the Dunedin hospital rebuild, which of course is an important matter for the good folks of Dunedin. But beyond that, is it a big thing? I suppose it is. Keeping New Zealand out of AUKUS, which is the military alliance between the US, UK and Australia. And I hazard a guess here, but the average everyday Kiwi might not really kind of understand all about that or let alone what AUKUS is. So why harp on about it? As for getting Kiwis into work, Hipkins says they would focus on delivering a fairer deal for working people with a reinstatement of fair pay agreements, pay equity and better protection for workers at the top of the list. Tax was a key issue too. Members voting for more work to be done to investigate a capital gains tax and a wealth tax. As for Māori Crown relations, well, Willie Jackson made a fiery speech on Saturday saying it was the coalition government that was taking the country down a path of division and hate in relation to the Treaty Principles Bill. And Hipkins said he believed the party should be dealing with the issues that were on the table today, stating Labour did not put this issue on the table, the current government did. And last but not least, well, there were a few things, but Kieran McNulty was announced to chair Labour's next general election campaign. The media were very hot on his heels, constantly asking if he was going to be the next Labour leader. Was he going to roll Chippy? He kept saying, don't want it, mate, don't want it. How many times can I say don't want it? He's such a Kiwi bloke. And he said it again last night. You might have seen it on the news now. Maybe this will shut you up. Stop asking me. Grumpy. Christine Rankin. Not grumpy, no. Dynamic leader and former CEO of Work and Income under a Labour government at the time. Known for transformative leadership. Continued influence in local government, media and a motivational speaker. And she joins me now. Christine, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Transformative. That's what I was trying to say, Christine, not transformative, but you know what I mean.
I bet you weren't transformed yesterday after the Labour Party
No, not at all. No. Not at all, Christine.
No.
Firstly, look, are you surprised Chris Hipkins is still the leader? I mean, usually after losing, they roll the boss and get someone else in.
Maybe they're just waiting for a more appropriate time, closer to the next election, maybe about a year out or something.
Oh, really?
Well, look, that's my guess. I have no idea. But Labour has some very strange allegiances too. They'd think they owe him a period of time in there, is the way I'm seeing it at the moment, but I don't believe he'll be there at the next election. He is not appealing and he doesn't have the credibility he needs, in my opinion.
No, that's why we got you on. Love it. He talked about the coalition of chaos and painted a picture of Kiwis being worse off a year on. What's your thoughts of the first year with this government, Christine?
Look, I actually think they're doing a good job in terms of the economy. I really do. I think they've been left with one hell of a mess, much bigger than any of us actually understand. And I am pleased. Look, I know a lot of people don't like our current Prime Minister. You don't have to like him. You need to respect his ability in business. And I truly believe that is having an effect. He's very ordered. He knows how to get things done. He knows how to change things. You don't have to love him. You have to admire the fact that he can do that. And anyone with half a brain would have been terrified at where we were at the last election in terms of what Labour had done to the country. I don't care I do think their motivation was good, but I don't think they had a clue on how to do anything. And none of them have ever been in business. None of them know how to achieve anything. So they might have meant well, but dear God, look where we've ended up. So I think National's done very well in this first year. they're going to have to do a lot more before the next election, and I believe they will.
I mean, look, I've really good points, Christine, and I agree, but does personality, you said you don't have to like him, but do you know that a lot of people do get bamboozled by a personality, right? Let's go back to Jacinda Ardern pre-COVID. Everyone liked her, not everyone, but a lot. She got very popular very quickly because she came across as this nice, smiley, genuine woman. And, you know, part of it is personality, isn't it?
Look, it always is in politics, but if we're going to grow up as a country and get the results we need, we've got to stop that nonsense. Because look what she did. The smiley, I love everyone, I just want to make everyone happy. Look what she led and look where she ended up. Now, there are people who still love her and adore her and see her as the answer to everything. The facts prove she did not, she was not. And if we don't grow up and realise you don't have to love somebody, you have to have someone competent. But, you know, in the National Party, there are people that have got both, in my opinion, and the future will see them come to the fore. I mean, the current Prime Minister won't be there forever.
Yeah. No surprises. Chippy highlighted what the government have cut: discounted public transport, free prescriptions, changed the free school lunches, just to name a few. But Christine, there was no detail on what they would do. Would they just bring it all back? Is there another version? And how do they pay for it all?
Well, they borrow, and I heard him interviewed this morning, and he says it's legitimate to borrow for anything big that's going to have a payback over the next 50 years. But they did that with everything. Look how much our debt is. It's absolutely terrifying. They don't have a plan on how to do it because they don't know how to do it. And, you know, that's what I mean about having people there that have done things in the past that have been more than career politicians. You've got a whole party of career politicians. And the Nanaia Mahuta Award, dear God in heaven, you can obviously get an award for anything from Labour.
Yes, that's right. There was a big emphasis in getting back to the basics, right? Focusing on what Labor stands for, especially the working people. I mean, do they stand now for the working person?
No. And they haven't for a very long period of time. I think they stand for the not working people and giving as much as possible to those who don't work from those who do work, and even more so when they bring in their wealth tax and their capital gain, because the wealth tax means that, you know, they can share it with more people who just want to stay at home. I'd like to stay at home some days.
Oh, well, I do stay at home, but I work as well, so, you know, it gets me both ways. But I was going to ask you about that. You know, the Labor Party loves their taxes. They think they can tax their way out of any problem or into prosperity. And the thing with this capital gains tax and the wealth tax, Christine, is over the last, 6 years, it has bounced back and forth between Labor itself, like not even with opposition. So, Jacinda Ardern wanted it, then she didn't want it, then Chippy wanted it, then he didn't want it. Now he's looking at it again. I mean, how can anyone that isn't happy with what's going on now and is possibly looking back to Labor, how can they even think these guys don't know what they're doing? They're all over the place.
Well, I think they should bring it on because New Zealand has been really clear that the vast majority do not want it. It is not an election winner. So go for it.